Hello everybody, and I'm back again with another figure review, and this time we're going to be looking at another Pokemon D-Arts figure, and this one here, as you can see, is Venusaur, and yeah, there probably were a lot of other D-Arts Pokemon that they could have come up with to make for posable figures before they made Venusaur, but he was mainly made for completionist's sake, considering how they'd already made Charizard, and then after that, well, I mean, you gotta make Blastoise if you got Charizard, and then at that rate, you can't make Charizard and Blastoise and not have Venusaur. So, here we've got Venusaur here. I'm gonna get into him last, and like always, start with the box and accessories, and then we'll get into the big guy, who actually on screen looks quite tiny, and he really is. He's not that big at all. Some people say that the D-Arts Pokemon are supposed to be to scale, and no. If you really hold them all up together, I would say that if you completely ignore Venusaur, the Blastoise, Charizard, and Mewtwo, they're pretty darn close to scale. You bring this Venusaur in, and no. Just no. I'm going to hold him next to Charizard, who's actually sitting right up here, just to give you an idea of the size comparison. Charizard is just kind of towering over that poor little guy right there. And as you can see, his tail's way behind him. Charizard is far larger. And yes, I am actually holding them next to each other. This Charizard is just far, far bigger. Just like virtually like above them. So if you count his wingspan and his tail, his Charizard is twice, maybe even 3 times bigger than the poor little Venusaur is. And in actuality in the game, if you check the sizes in the Pokedex, which I know has like no validity to it anyway, Venusaur is like twice the size of Charizard in height. So he's actually pretty massive. He should really be about 3 times that size if they wanted to be accurate. So we can't really complain about that. This is just a figure meant to stand alone and be awesome. And if you really count the Vine Whip attack that he's got, this guy takes up a ton of space, so it's fine that he's that size. So first, I'm going to scoot him aside just a little bit so we can take a look at his awesome D-Arts box, which will fit on screen for us, fortunately. So here's the front of it right here. The Japanese name is Fushigibana, if I'm saying that right. It's got a cool image of Venusaur right here with more of that foil action. Another one of those foil arts on the side where we see Venusaur. Bunch of different poses and stuff on the back, and obviously since Venusaur is not the most pose-worthy guy, most of what we're seeing is just him sitting there, looking up, looking to the side, and the Vine Whip. That's pretty much it. And he comes with a stand like the other ones do with that Pokeball clear stand. We'll get into that in a second. Another foil side, a cool cut so we can see through it. It's basically the same as the other D-Arts Pokemon stands. Same as those. There's stands, I mean boxes. Alright, let's throw that in the back. And my focus, come on focus. There you go, good job. So, one at a time. The other two, the Mewtwo and Charizard, I have, sorry I don't have a Blastoise yet, he's just costing way too much money. The Venusaur will come with one of these stands as well, just like the Charizard and Mewtwo, but he has no need, really, for the little claw thing, the stand, to actually come out, so it's really just a base for him to stand on, to match the others, really. This one does have a hole in it for the stand to actually go in, so if you have another use with one of the other figures and you actually want to stand him up, I don't know how you could ever do it, but it's there. It's not plugged up like the other holes are, which I don't know why they didn't plug that one up like the other ones, but oh well, it's there. Really makes him feel like a recycled kind of figure because they just gave you that stand because the others have it. They made Venusaur because they made the others. Whatever. Venusaur is still really cool. He's one of my favorite grass starters. It's just I never really picked him because he's pitted against like the coolest water and the coolest fire type starter Pokemon, and it's kind of unfair to Venusaur. So, now that we've looked at that stand, I want to show you this Vine Whip attack he's got, and this is just nuts. This is in so many pieces. I should probably leave it separated on the floor, or on the base, just really quick. So, this is the seed part. this comes off. These are all connected by these little pegs. I kind of wish they went in a little bit deeper, just because some of these kind of fall apart just based on how heavy that seat is at the end. That's solid plastic, so it has a little bit of weight to it. Not much, but the thing is, when you try and support it on a very long vine that we're going to be connecting these poles to, there, so yeah, it will fall, especially when you're trying to balance it out of Venusaur's back, which I will show you later how to actually get them in there. But as I separate these, you basically get 2 of this end, 2 middle pieces, and then these 2 pieces to come out of Venusaur and whip around. And obviously you can turn them in pretty much any direction, and you can kind of change how the vine whip is working. You can't do that much to it, but you can change it significant enough to where you can probably get him to look like he's grabbing and throwing something, or actually like about to whip and slap something. So you can do some pretty cool things with it. I know some people are kind of complaining that they're like, why is it vine whip? That's such a weak attack. Wouldn't you pick like solar beam or something? Which I've seen people online sell this solar beam as a fan-made accessory to go with Venusaur, and that'd be pretty sweet. But I mean, the thing is, the vine whip looks cooler in figure form, helps him take up a lot more space because he is kind of tiny. So I mean, that's okay. I would still kind of prefer the cool, clear, you know, really powerful attachment. I mean, Blastoise got the hydro pumps, the Charizard got a big fire clear flare, and Mewtwo's got a shadow ball, and Venusaur is over here with his little vine whip still that he learned at level 10 or something like that. So that's a little bummer for Venusaur, but whatever looks cool. Probably we're just looking at the TV show, not thinking of the game, but doesn't really matter. So we can get into this guy now! Yay-hoo! Now you can see how not big he is. Well, I say not big mainly because compared to the other D-Arts, he's just not that big. That, and I know how big he's supposed to be in the game, so I know he's really supposed to be a massive monster. But believe me, once you use that vine whip, and I know you're all looking at it like, heck yeah, I know he was just complaining about the vine whip, but I would so use that. It's awesome. He takes up a lot of space when you do that. I mean, I couldn't fit him on this background when he started using that. That's how much space he takes up. So I'm going to try and do what I normally do, which is move head to tail, I guess. I'll show you what's going on. After I show you the head, I'm going to move to this back part here, which actually may be easier if I just take it off and start with it, which is this piece here. This whole thing pops out right there, which he actually is the only one I know that of the D-Arts that came with directions, and they actually tell you instead to pop off these 2 leaves right here, which are numbered if you get really close. Oh good, focus is cooperating today. You see 1, 2, 3, and 4. They want you to take off 2 and 4. See this little one up front goes over his head. 3, this long one goes over his back. And these 2 are covering up the little holes right there for the vine whips to go in. And basically they want you to pop those suckers off, but I find it so much easier just to pull the whole thing out because it gives you room to work. And I really don't want to mess him up. I'm going to save that guy for later. Really quick, because I have it open, I'll just show you how this works. The vine whip is on a little ball right there, a little ball piece, and it literally just pops right in. I don't think it went all the way. Yeah, it goes twice. Okay, because now it's a little more sturdy. See, I can kind of move it around. Can't do that much, really. I probably can't get his back piece, his flower on, with it going in that direction. But most of the time it's tilted back like that, and that's pretty much what it's going to look like when you have it on. Okay, and then you really just start building from there, and you make the vines look however you want. So, just to show you how that worked, I'm going to pop it back out. That's really all there is to it. I'm kind of worried when I do that. I make sure I take that off when I do it because I'm really scared that this ball is going to pop out and get stuck inside of his back. That really worries me, but fortunately it's never happened. I think I've heard a horror story online where it did happen, and someone's Venusaur is basically just screwed at that point. So that's really upsetting for them, but oh well, hadn't happened to me because I'm careful with my flower. So let's start with Venusaur here. His mouth will open and shut. We can see that's about as open as it'll get. It's alright. I mean, he'll also move his head up and down, and he can tilt side to side. It's easier with his mouth shut. Not much movement in there though. I mean, he's really just a giant hunk of plastic. You can see he's a bunch of different plastic pieces just kind of going together there. So it's about as looking down as he'll get, with his jaw pretty much on the ground, to that's his looking up, about as high as he can go. Not much in there, but really, how much are you expecting out of this thing? A lot of people are probably looking at this guy like, how do they even get that thing to pose? You know, you really just can't really do it. His head, yeah, I was like, I swore I got it to tip before. It does tip. It's just a combination of those two directions. It doesn't really tip much. I'm not actually getting it to tip the other direction at all for some reason. Kind of difficult to move. The head, as you see, was kind of on one of these plastic things. It's I'm not exactly sure how it's working. It's kind of like how the tail parts work with Charizard and Mewtwo, but at a much larger scale, which is kind of how the foot is working here, which, for complaining about posability, they actually did this big bulky leg of Venusaur really well. Bummer is you really can't do that much with him. I mean, when would I need his hand up like that? Is he like walking or stomping on something, or I don't know, but you can do it. I feel like you really got to get creative to figure out what to do with this guy, because he, other than that Vine Whip, can't really do much, and that's kind of a bummer. I really don't want to complain about him this whole time. He's really cool. His colors are really nice. He's a great addition to put next to another Pokemon D-Arts. As a standalone, you can get him to look really nice with those Vine Whips, but it's still, there's just something odd. Like, I mean, when am I gonna do this with his hands? I've seen a couple people do like a body slam or something, which you gotta get the idea about how these joints are already working right here. And yep, there he goes. He is literally standing right now. I'll turn him sideways so you can see what's going on. He's seriously standing. So you can do a body slam with him. Yeah, there really wasn't any problem with that at all. The joints, just so I don't completely bypass them, they appear to be kind of like those tail pieces, just like a piece of plastic and a piece of plastic. And inside those, I think there's little ball joints that help these things move. Except this one, this middle piece, this is just a thing of plastic, just between them, helping it form fit a little better, I guess. The legs move surprisingly well, just by the looks of it. I know he looks really bulky and like he won't work at all, but he actually moves pretty well. Back, I see there's a joint of some sort, but I'm trying to figure out the point. Basically that. I don't understand why that's not one piece. Probably just because it's a posable figure and they felt inclined to put something there. Because I guess he would have a hip joint, but that, I'm getting literally no movement out of it. Movement out of it is what I was saying. So, weird. Basically, you're just dealing with the petals and flowers and putting them on top of the body. So I'm going to set him down in the background for now so I can take a look at this. Let's see. So leaf 1 is over his head, so just to give you an idea, that means we're looking like this. Just the leaves you already saw, they're all on their own little itty bitty ball joints. They do pop out. Like I say in the instructions, they want you to pull out 2 and 3. Oh, not 2 and 3. 2 and 4 to put the Vine Whips in, which I don't think you really need to do. They are on their own little ball joints. They can tip and, you know, you can angle them. Sometimes I like to move the first one so that it puts a little shadow over one side of his face or something like that, so you can get a little more dynamic looking. The flower, let me bend these down so we can get a better look at it. Each petal is on its own ball joint, and as you can see, actually you can't really see. It's kind of hard to see. Focus is back here, so you can kind of tell, and they're itty bitty little ball joints on every single one of them. So I guess if you wanted it to like go really droopy or up pretty high, I don't really know the purpose or what you would do to, or what reason you'd have to pose it like that. You can though. That's about the extent of it. I just pushed it all the way down to all the way up. Yeah, that one kind of looks like it's over fluffed, so I guess it's however you want to fluff the flower, which whatever. So I'm gonna pop that in there really quick. It goes right in. And really there's not much more to this Venusaur. I kind of said it all as I was taking a look at him. And yeah, that's really it. So he's still pretty cool. I really like his colors in particular. That one, there we go, that leaf wasn't holding him up. It wasn't holding up pretty nicely. So now it looks pretty good. He does look really cool, I think. You really don't need to move him that much to get him to look good. Honestly, most of the personality in this guy is with his Vine Whip, which, yeah, I know the Solar Beam would have been a cooler, more powerful attack, but the Vine Whip has a lot of personality to him, and you could do a lot more with it, and I think that looks pretty cool. So, a lot of ups and downs to this guy. Fortunately, as far as I know, he is the cheapest Pokemon D arts. The Charizard right now is running like 200 bucks. The Mewtwo and Blastoise are around 70 to 80. And new, this guy I think is still around 40, which is really low. I think it's actually lower than what he was when he came out. I'm not sure, but that's significantly lower than the others. Probably because of the demand. Just because if someone was going to buy Pokemon D arts, they're probably not going to him first. More than likely, you're watching this video because you already have a Pokemon D arts and you're thinking about getting the Venusaur, not, hey, I want a Pokemon D arts, I want to start with Venusaur, which is kind of a shame and a discredit to Venusaur, but honestly, he really shouldn't have gotten a posable figure this soon when there's so many other Pokemon figures that I think should have gotten posable figures before him. So that is kind of a bummer that that didn't happen, but I wanted to make sure that I got more of these figures, so I hope that they do keep making more of them, because I think they're really cool. And, you know, Venusaur is still a really cool Pokemon. He just, like I said, he gets really overshadowed by how awesome Blastoise and Charizard are. So, I'm going to take some final shots with him, see if I can do some crazy stuff with those Vine Whips for you guys, and I'll get back to the final reviews and photo shoot. Alrighty, now, time for some final thoughts on Venusaur. Well, first of all, I would want to say that the main problems with this guy is actually posing him. Venusaur wasn't really made originally to be a Pokemon who could make a bunch of dynamic poses. He's also kind of difficult to move once you actually start using some of these joints that are deep inside the plastic that's already in a big bulky creature. And then you're also dealing with those vines, which are really long and delicate, but have a really heavy seed at the end of them, and also will make them fall down, so it's pretty difficult to pose, but he looks really great when you can get everything lined up together. He looks really awesome posed with another Pokemon D arts, and he looks really good as a standalone. I mean, he's really colorful, he can be really dynamic, and he really does look really great, but he doesn't have a lot of things that aren't going for him very well. So with all those things together, I'm still just going to have to give him a 7 out of 10. I was honestly thinking about giving him something higher than that, mainly just because what can you really do with Venusaur? Other than, say, give him like a big dynamic Solar Beam attack or something crazy like that. I was trying to get more creative with the posing for this photo shoot here. You can see I was trying to do like a running pose, and I tried some other stuff with the Vine Whips, and really, you're really limited with him. But it's not that big of a deal because he still looks really cool. So I'm going to say that's my final verdict on this Venusaur. I really like him. I'm really glad I have him as an addition to my Pokemon D arts collection, and I'm really hoping to find a Blastoise at one point, so that'd be a pretty awesome video if I ever get one of those Blastoise. So I'm really glad about this Venusaur. If you ever get a chance to pick one of them up, you should let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear what you think about your Venusaur. Alright, so I'm going to see you guys at the next figure review.